for bringing his remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together once more for our opposition leader. And our next speaker has been a principal architect of Jamaica's engagement with its diaspora communities across the globe. Undoubtedly, we have strengthened Jamaica's international relationships, expanded opportunities for global partnerships, and ensured that diaspora voices remain integral to our national development. Please welcome our minister stewarding those missions, Senator the Honorable Kamina Johnson-Smith, JP, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, who will also introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, our Prime Minister of Jamaica. Please make our Honorable Minister welcome.
Conference, you know that I have to do my officialdom, right? But I know you always give me grace. So I'm going to greet Bishop Conrad Pitkin. I'm going to greet the Most Honorable Andrew Holness and the Most Honorable Juliet Holness. I'm going to greet Mr. Golding, Leader of the Opposition, DPM, and other members of the Cabinet, Minister Terry Long, and other members of Parliament, parliamentarians who are here with us today. I hope you will get a chance to engage with them directly. Please, when you see them and you recognize them, introduce yourself, engage with them, because they are here to be with you. P.S. Sealy Monteith, Head of the Foreign Service, and I think Prime Minister, the entire P.S. board is here. We welcome you, the Honorable Earl Jarrett, Mr. Frank James, Mr. Courtney Campbell, our legacy partners who are here with us, members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of Jamaica's heads of mission, overseas heads of consular posts, Dr. Kevin Brown, our conference program coordinator, president of the UTEC of Jamaica, diasporan who has graduated to returning resident. I always have to make that point. Senior government officials, esteemed guests and panelists, members of the Jamaican family, members of the diaspora, members of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, members of the Jamaica Diaspora Youth Council, members of all the Jamaican associations overseas who are here represented in leadership and membership. Good morning to you. It is a pleasure to be with you this morning, a tremendous pleasure to extend a warm welcome to this 11th Biennial Jamaica Diaspora Conference. Welcome home to those of you who have never missed a conference. Welcome home to all of the newbies and the first-timers. Welcome to everyone in between. I know you have already ignited, reignited, and been embraced by the very special vibes that you experience when you come home. This is why you come. This is why you remain connected, because we know that there is nowhere like home, or nowhere no better than. Love it, love it, love it. The government of Jamaica, with our foreign ministry team right in the middle, continues to deepen engagement with you, our diaspora. We've worked hard with our partners and indeed with our diaspora teams to ensure that we are able to host a successful 11th Biennial Jamaica Diaspora Conference, which is not an end result in itself. It's not the success in itself, but it is such a critical part of our engagement and our projection of the work to be done. Prime Minister, as host of conference, I need to formally report a challenge to you. The Custos is aware, the Mayor is aware, Minister Bartlett has taken good note. For the first time ever in the more than 2 decades of conference, sir, we are oversubscribed. We have packed the Montego Bay Convention Center to capacity and beyond. Both hotels and Airbnb are celebrating, and we are celebrating togetherness together. It is indeed one of the right challenges to have. But on a serious note, we are widening and deepening engagement. So this is the right kind of challenge, but we sincerely regret that we weren't able to accommodate everyone in person. And on that note, I want to expressly acknowledge and welcome everyone who is joining us online, whether you're here just for this event or for the virtual experience. We love that you're with us every step of the way. But as we welcome everyone, I want to ask you all, ladies and gentlemen, if you could just join me in reflection for a quiet moment on those who would usually be with us, but who are not with us today. And in particular, I want you to send up a small prayer for our dearly departed Alcyon Wilson, former Consul General of New York, of Jamaica at New York, who we know would have been in the heart of everything today. So I know you're managing my time, Debbie, but I'm just asking for a few seconds, just a few, for us to spare a thought and a quiet prayer. May her soul rest in peace. We miss her still. Ladies and gentlemen, your participation in this conference comes at a critical time, as we have all heard. Since our conference in 2024, Jamaica has been seriously impacted by named and unnamed storms, but most recently by Beryl and Melissa. They've impacted people at a personal, community, and the national levels. And I know that's why we've all agreed that the theme is so timely, and it's why we have such an incredible day of service that's planned. So I want to say to the Leader of the Opposition that if he has a look at the program and if he visits our desk to the right, he's going to encounter the most incredible projects, a record 21 projects for day of service, all of which are going to be conducted in the parishes most impacted by Melissa. We thank you, we bless you all who have come with your tools, with your medicine, with your hearts in service to make a difference every day. This is how Prime Minister, the diaspora not only comes to the space to be present, but they come to serve. And we thank you. Conference, we know that this is the greatest opportunity, which we have every 2 years, to reflect on where we are in Jamaica, not where we think we are, to get the facts, to share perspectives, and to make sure that we exchange views on the best way to achieve the future for Jamaica that all of us want to see. To this end, the program has been quite broad in a spectrum reflective of your views and your perspectives, your priorities. In this context, we know that it is important for us to promote and ensure that we hold productive discussions and provide a forum for all the voices of various societal actors to be heard. I want to express special appreciation to Dr. Brown and to the Conference Secretariat, and indeed to Minister Terry Long, to our legacy partners, our newer and new partners, the Calvary Baptist Church family, to all our moderators, speakers, and panelists who are going to participate and who have participated as a voluntary labor of love and service to country. We are blessed to have you. We are blessed to take your perspectives on board. We are blessed to have the benefit of your wisdom and expertise. And yes, conference, you will have more Q&A time today. My team and I at the Foreign Ministry are committed to listening and engaging in a spirit of unity, inclusion, and collaboration as partners. Let's continue the work at hand as I go to my next task, which is to tell you that our keynote speaker is the current captain of the ship of state. And after 10 years of steering the country through some of its most difficult challenges, his works are acclaimed locally and internationally. It is a distinct pleasure for me this morning to introduce Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica. The Prime Minister, hold on, give me some time. I have a few things to say. But the Prime Minister, I crave your indulgence to just remind a few reasons why it is that he has earned such an excellent reputation as a statesman and international leader. History was rewritten in 2011 when, at 39 years old, he became Jamaica's youngest Prime Minister when he was sworn in for the first time. He's now serving his 7th term as Member of Parliament and a historic 3rd consecutive term. The Prime Minister brings a vibrant, pragmatic, and visionary energy to the transformation of public sector administration and to making government more agile and responsive. And under his leadership, the government is focused on growing the economy, creating jobs, and improving the well-being of all Jamaicans, including the most vulnerable. He believes wholeheartedly that you, our diaspora, are a vital partner to Jamaica's development, and he recognizes that your continued commitment, ideas, and engagement collectively serve to strengthen the bridge between home and abroad. Since 2016, his leadership has secured strong macroeconomic achievements, including cutting debt to GDP by over 1/2, cutting homicide, serious crimes, and active gangs to the lowest levels in decades, the maintenance of inflation in the target range to manage the cost of living, stabilization of the exchange rate, massive social investments that have resulted in the lowest levels of unemployment, and significant improvements in the lives of the elderly, young people, and every Jamaican from all walks of life. These are all works in progress, and he never rests on his laurels. And he continues to lead Jamaica through some of our most challenging times. Those of us here are proud to serve in his cabinet as we play our part in achieving a more stable, more peaceful, more resilient Jamaica filled with hope and opportunity. And what that means for Jamaicans in the diaspora isn't perfection, but a Jamaica that works hard to be better every day, a Jamaica of which you are proud to work for and with, and in which you are confident to invest, and to which you plan to return. This is a vision of Prime Minister Andrew Holness that continues to inspire and to which all Jamaicans continue to aspire. Would you please be upstanding and join me in welcoming the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica.
Nowhere no better than you. And when you check, please be seated, be seated. I don't know, I just felt that a while ago.